Hello Stampin' friends and welcome. This is Dee Osburn and I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Today we're going to make a Gingerbread House Christmas card. And I will show you exactly how I made this and all the things that I used to make it, and everything will be listed in the description below. So if you like this video, go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already, and be sure to hit the bell so you can be notified when I upload new videos. So let me show you, let's dive into this and let's see, I'll show you all the things that I used to make this. There's a lot of little pieces, parts. Let's look at this one real quick because I'm going to make the one that we're going to do together. I'm going to do a cinnamon cider colored house. This one is real red. And I used the gingerbread dies, and there's a lot of them. So there's the house die, and that's what I cut the house out of, and it has a roof. Okay, so I used the roof, and I cut it out in basic white. And then I took the house and I ran it through the brick and mortar embossing folder to make it look like brick. Now you don't have to do that, but I kind of wanted a brick house, so I did that. Then I took the colors that I used here were for the tree. So here's the trees. I cut some mint macaron and I cut some shaded spruce. And then I ran them through the fern embossing folder. That's what gave it that textured look. And then I took a piece of basic white at 5 1/4 by 4, and I ran it through the Charming Landscapes, and I used the one that has the houses. Okay, and I ran that through. And it does leave a little space at the bottom, you'll see. In fact, here's the one that I did for the card we're going to do in just a second. And it has a space at the bottom, but that's okay, because then you're going to take the hill die from the gingerbread die set, and you're going to cut out 2 sets of hills. Okay, you're going to take it and you're going to cut out 2 sets of hills. Let me get my other hill. So 2 sets of hills, and you're going to overlap them like this. Okay, and I'll show you when we make the card. All right, and then I took some basic white, and I used the fence die, which I love this die. It's probably one of my favorite dies right now. And it cuts out this spectacular fence, and it just cuts out beautifully. I mean, you cut it and the pieces just kind of fall out of it. It's pretty amazing. It's seriously one of my favorite dies right now. And then I cut out, they give you 2 dies for the little lollipops, and they give you 3 dies for the little gummy drops. And then this is a door, and then you have 2 window dies, okay, so that you can cut that out of your house. And then you have a wreath die. Okay, so those are the dies and that we're going to use, the dies and embossing folders that we're going to use to make this other card. All right, let's get started. So here's all of my fun little things that I cut out. I have some lollipops that I cut out. I already stamped and cut them out. So I used Flirty Flamingo, I used Real Red, and I used Shaded Spruce. And that's Real Red. Then I have some Flirty Flamingo lollipops. Gumdrops. Then I have some Garden Green. I have, what else do I have here? Let's see. That's Real Red. There's my roof. Mint Macaron and Shaded Spruce for my trees. Got all these fun little things. There's another Garden Green gummy drop. I used Daffodil Delight. Okay. And then I used the Here's My House that I cut with the die and ran through the brick and mortar embossing folder. All right, so let's put it together. You're going to start out with a piece of cinnamon cider. If you don't want to do a cinnamon cider one, then I did the base in real red on this card. Okay, and that base is going to be cut at 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. And you're going to cut a piece of basic white at 5 1/4 by 4, and you're going to glue that to the inside. And that's where you write your message. And then make sure that you take your bone folder and give your card base a nice crisp fold so that it lays nice and flat. So let's go ahead and do that. Get my bone folder. Give it a nice crisp fold. I like the card to lay flat when I'm using it and creating it. Otherwise, it's just kind of a pain. So, all right. So now you're going to take a piece of basic white, cut it 5 1/4 by 4, and you're going to run it through the embossing folder. And that was the Charming Landscapes. And I'll show you how I put it in here. So I pushed it because, you know, this is longer than this is. So I put it up here. I wanted the snowflake in the corner. So I put my paper right there in the corner, and there's kind of this little line right there that you can use it to judge where you going with your paper. So you see it kind of stops right there. So it's a really nice guide. And then you run it through the Stampin' cut and emboss machine, and it comes out like this. So that's going to be your card front. And I found it easier, I think it'll be easier to glue this onto here, but not until we get our hills and our fence on, because we may have to cut that down a bit. Okay, so then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to cut out our hills, which I've done. And one of them is going to go here, and you want to, if you just put them on here like this and match up the corners, you're going to have this space right here. So you want to move that over just a touch. Excuse me. And on this side as well, so that, you know, the ends aren't showing that space there, because you're going to have your house in the middle and you're going to have stuff on there, and it's not going to matter in the middle. Okay, so let's glue those down. All right, so we're going to put the glue on the lower side, because we're going to want to push things up underneath the hill. So we're going to just put it along the edge there. And then we're going to make sure that this hill goes all the way to the edge so that we don't see that spot. Okay, and then we'll do the same thing with this side. Okay. And we'll want to pull it over as far as we can and not see that. Okay. All right, then we can flip it over and trim those edges. So now we have that. So now we're going to think about our house. So before we can put our house on there, we have to give it windows, right? So I cut this little piece of saffron, and you know, it's just a scrap. You just cut it so that it fits behind the house. All right, we're going to move that out. And we're going to just put glue around on this side. Just put it around like that. And then we'll put this on top of it. All right, then what we have to do is we have to give it some dimension, make it look like it's got window panes, and that's what this stamp is all about. And then the door as well. So we're going to get our So Saffron ink, and you can decide if you want to stamp off or not. I'll show you what it looks like if it's stamped off or not stamped off. So you ink it up, and that's pretty bright, but you might want to see it bright. I like it a little more subtle, so I'm going to stamp off. So we're going to stamp off, and then we're going to stamp on here. And it fits perfectly in those little windows. Look at that. Oh, I missed a little bit on that side. That's okay. I should have pushed it over just a little more. There we go. Okay, so then I'm done with the window. So I clean my stamp. And let's do the door. So we're going to ink up our stamp. And we're going to stamp off. And then we're going to line it up and stamp inside. There we go. Easy, easy. Okay. Okay, so now we're going to put our roof on. And I'm just going to put some glue on the edge of this roof line. Okay, and then we will lay the roof down on top of it. Look how cute that is. Oh my goodness. How adorable is that already? All right, so now we're ready to put our house onto our fence. And the fence is going to go just like that. So actually we're going to put our fence down first. And we're just going to put a little bit of glue on the very ends because we want to be able to slide things under the fence. So we're going to, it's cut just perfectly. I took a piece of basic white, cut at 5 1/4 this way. Okay, and then I just cut it out. Okay, now we're going to put the house on there. I'm just going to glue it on. Okay. And we're going to put it kind of in the middle where the gap is. You know, down here where the gap is, and you can kind of, you could see the, you know, where, I don't know how to describe that. You know, where the hills go down, and then there's that little space. Okay, so there's that. We're almost done. It's so cute. Now at this point, I think it's easier to glue this down now, because all these little things that we're going to put on there, once you get that and you put the glitter and stuff on there, you can't turn it over. So let's go ahead and put this on here. That's so cute. And you'll have to decide whether or not you like, once we're all done, whether you like the red one or the gingerbread colored one. Okay, so let's put our dies to the side, give ourselves a little more room, and we'll start decorating our house, our gingerbread house. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to put on there is I'm going to put my wreath on there. Okay. And we'll let that dry. We'll put that on there and let that dry. Okay. And then we'll put some, let I'm excited putting all our fun things. I want to get my take your pick tool because I found it easy to use this last time to pick the things up and use this end to kind of move them around. So I think I'm going to do a tree first. So we'll put some glue on the back of the tree. And I'm going to put this up underneath here just a bit. Okay, and now I can use the pokey end, call it the pokey end, the pointed end, to adjust it. All right, now I think I want a mint macaron one, and we'll put some glue on that one. And I think we'll put it right here. Okay. And we'll take a flirty flamingo lollipop. Whoa. And we'll put a little bit of glue on the end, on the stem part, the stick part, I guess. And we want to put that up underneath like that. And then we'll take a red one. See how easy it is to pick these up and put the glue on there, and then just put them exactly where you want them. This one's going to go under the, on top of the hill and under the fence. And then I'm going to fill in with my gumdrops at the end. Okay, so now I'm going to put the shaded spruce lollipop, and it's going to go under my hill. Remember, I didn't glue the top of my hill down? This is why. So we're going to put that there. Then we'll take a flirty flamingo. Put a little glue on there. And this one's going to go on top of the hill, but under the fence. And remember, we didn't glue the fence down either, and this is why. Okay, and then we'll take our Daffodil Delight and put a little glue, and we'll put this one under the fence on top of the hill. All right, so now I'm gonna get my last little tree. Keep knocking my glue container over. Sorry about all the noise. And then we're going to put it under the fence. This one's a little more of a challenge because it's the last one to go in. And you've got the other things there. Okay. All right, now I'm ready to do my my gummy drops. Okay, let's just push this down a little bit, make sure it's sticking good. All right. I'm going to start with a flirty flamingo gumdrop. A little dot of glue. And I want this one to be kind of on the house. But just a little bit, kind of on the edge of the house. Then I'm going to have a real red kind of floating up in the air at an angle like that. Oops. Give those a second to dry before we move on. Maybe I'll do the one on this side next. And let those dry. So we'll put a real red one on this side, on the corner of the house. Okay. And we'll let that dry. Then I'm going to put a garden green one over here. Kind of flush with the edge of the card. Okay. Give that just a second. And we'll take a flirty flamingo one for the other side. And we'll put it right here. Move that over just a touch. Put it where we want it. There we go, right there. And then the last Flirty Flamingo one over on this side. And kind of make this one kind of go in at an angle, like, woo, they're just kind of thrown there on the doorstep. Lots of candy, right? All right, so then our real red one is going to go a little bit behind the Flirty Flamingo one. Just the edge is going to go right behind. Okay, this tool is great for this. Otherwise, I think it would be very frustrating. But having this tool, using both ends of it, it has made this job just so easy and just really easy. Because otherwise, I think it would be like sticking to me, and I wouldn't be able to arrange it easily. So there's that. Okay. So that's all my little paper embellishments. But I am going to do a couple of other things. Now let me show you the product that I used to do all the like frosting looking pieces. I used the Stampin' Up! Pearlized Enamel Effects Basics white, and I'm gonna be honest, it was a little hard to use, even though it looked really cool. It's like frosting. It was a little hard to put on there, but we're gonna give it a try, and we'll make it work. Okay, so let's do that. I'm just gonna go really carefully. I'm just gonna shake it up and squeeze it gently. It comes out kind of fast. And then go along here. If you're a cake decorator, you're probably going to be great at this. I'm not. But, I mean, it seems to be working better on this one, I think, than on the last one. Okay, so then I'm going to go along the edge of this one. And there. Actually, that came out, I think, better than the other one did. So, there's that. And that's the Pearlized Enamel Effects Basics. And there's 3 colors in the pack. You get white, red, and black. So, I kind of like it. Well, I guess it just takes it's got a little learning curve. It takes a little practice. But I think this one came out better than that one did. When it dries, you can see that it flattens out just a touch. Not a ton, but it does flatten out just a little bit. All right, so then I took the red, the Pearlized Enamel Effects Basics red, and I put dots along the roof. So let's do that. It almost looks pink when it comes out, but it's not pink. It is red. Look how cute that is. I just really like that. Alright, so now, I don't know if you've ever used Stickles. This is Stickles. Stampin' Up! Used to sell this glitter glue, kind of like the Pearlized Enamel Basic stuff. But they don't sell it anymore. But Stickles has like every color and type that you could possibly imagine. And I'll leave a link down below to where you can get some. And I'm going to shake this up. And I want to put 3, just the dots on here where the little holly is. Just a little dot. Just a dot for each little holly berry. Okay, it's very glittery. This is cranberry, and see, and it comes out. You can't hardly see it, but you really can see it. So it's pretty cool. And then if you wanted, they also have green. They have every color you can imagine. And you could do up the wreath as well. I'm not going to do that, but I am going to take this crystal Stickles and I'm going to decorate the background. So I'm going to shake this up and I'm going to put some of this on every dot, you know, kind of where it's like stitched. So I'm going to put just a little dot everywhere where it's kind of stitched. This is it's called Crystal. They have like ice and they have snowfall and I mean all kinds of different ones. Everything you could possibly imagine. And I'm just dotting where the dots are. It's super easy. It comes out real nice. It's gooey for sure because it's glitter glue, really, I guess, is what it is. Basically, right? And then I'm going to put some on this side where the dots are. Being careful not to touch my pearl enamel. I'm going to put it here. Got dots right here. And right here. And there's one behind here, so... Oh, there's 3 behind here. Let's go ahead and do those. Put our tree back down. Okay. And then I'm also going to do the snowflakes that are in the sky. And I'm going to do the tree and the star. And I'm going to do all the windows. Okay, so the way I did the snowflake was I put a blob of it in the center and then I just kind of, without squeezing, I pulled some of this onto the legs of the snowflake. And if you need to squeeze and get a little bit more, you know, do that. Okay. I have football in the background. I don't know if you can hear it or not, but we like football here. And so we'll be watching some football here in just a few minutes. It's on and it's waiting. So, right, so there's that. And then I'm going to put some on this candy cane. And on the wreath on this door. And then I'm just going to kind of scrub it onto the windows like they're frosted up. I can totally hear the football in the background. I didn't think it was that loud. And then I'm going to do this candy cane and this snowflake. And this house has dots on it, so I'm going to do the dots. Okay. And this tree. Here's another snowflake. I'm wondering if my husband turned the television up. Okay. Put some on the little things there. Put some on this star and on the parts of this tree. And then this house has these little things right here. And the window, just going to scrub it onto the windows. And there we go. That's so cute. I love it. It's so cute. And then the last thing that I'm going to do is put a sentiment. Okay, so on this one I used Real Red from Our Home to Yours, and that's part of the Sweet Gingerbread stamp set. You could have a Sweet Christmas, Sending Love from Our Home to Yours. This is the Sweet Gingerbread stamp set. I liked From Our Home to Yours, and I'm going to, on this card, stamp it in cinnamon cider so it matches the house and the card base. So we have our From Our Home to Yours. I'm going to ink it up in cinnamon cider, and I have a piece. This was the piece that was left over when I did my other one, and this is an inch wide. So I'm just going to go ahead and stamp it, and then I'll cut the other side. So I'm going to stamp this right here. I can always cut it down a little more if I want. So then I'm going to trim it. Okay. And maybe I'll trim this side just a touch. There we go. And we'll turn it over and put some dimensionals on it because I want it to be popped up. Okay. And put my ink away so it doesn't dry out. Okay. And we're going to place it just right up here in this corner from our home to yours. There we go. I love it. So now you have to decide which one you like better. Do you like the gingerbread colored one or do you like the red Christmassy one? You could really make your house any color. So there's our gingerbread house. Gingerbread house for Christmas. I hope that you have enjoyed this video. I hope that you're inspired to go and make a Christmas card or a gingerbread card or some other Christmassy thing. I hope that you've been inspired to go in your craft room or at your kitchen table and make something that makes you happy. So I do hope that you will come back and see me and have a great rest of your day.